Hey everyone, happy Saturday. We are back in the studio. Today we will be working with two-part epoxy and epoxy pigments, and we're going to have a lot of messy fun. We're going to work on a couple different projects. The first I'm going to do is a tabletop with you. My friend Camilla, who's been here with me for the last few weeks, finished a table yesterday and she wanted the top epoxy with a little glitter in it. So we're going to go back here in a little while and do that. And then we're going to come up here and do some more other fun, creative, expressive ways to play with two-part epoxies. Hey Cindy, nice to see you here. All right, I'm going to turn the camera down so you can watch me mix the epoxy because that is a vital part of what we're doing. Never do this without gloves on. Yes, I went and got a fresh manicure yesterday, and that's not why I'm putting on gloves. I'm putting on gloves because I don't want to wear epoxy on my hands for the rest of my life. So let me turn this down. Okay, you can see my work area. Yep, we got a good clear shot. I'm going to pull a chair over. And, all right, so let me tell you a little about our products. We are working with two-part epoxy resin. This brand is called Art Resin. I love this product. It is super clear, almost odorless, no stinky fumes anywhere around using this. I haven't heard of anybody having any allergic reactions to it, which is a big deal. And then it dries crystal clear. Now the only thing I will say is this product is not recommended for countertops. Countertops require heat at a higher level than this epoxy can handle. I am actually just starting to log myself in also on my iPad so I can read your questions as they come along. Yes, I can see myself now. Not that I really need to, but I can. Let's see, and I should be able to get comments and stuff. This whole swipe left thing. Hey Rayma, nice to see you. So what we're going to start with, I'm going to introduce you to products slowly as we go through so I don't overwhelm you to begin with. I also have no candles lit today as I tried to set my jeans on fire yesterday. And I shouldn't say try, I kind of actually did set a pair of jeans on fire after I threw them off from the foil live. And yeah, I'm really smart. I'm feeling very proud of myself for how smart I was with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is put on gloves. Maybe I'll also take off my watch since I am notorious for getting everything on my watch. Trying to be better about this stuff. I'm not always great at it, but I am trying. Okay, so we have a ton of cups because we're going to work with a bunch of colors, but right now we're going to start with this. So we have the hardener and we have the resin. This is what gives it that heavy, clear body. This is what makes it hard. So you're going to mix equal parts. And when it says equal, it means equal. We're going to do the tabletop first, so I'm going to have to mix this up, put the glitter in it, and then carry both you guys, the camera and the product, to the back. So likely I will drop the camera. Just fair warning. We all know I drop the cameras on the regular basis. So, all right, so I am looking at, this is the hardener, and we are measuring equal parts. Now, if you are super OCD, absolutely measure this. I am really good at measuring by eye so that I get the same amount in the containers. If I push my bifocals up so I can see the levels. And I'm going to move these over because there is a slight curve in my table. And I need a little more hardener. The reason you need to be accurate with your pouring is because if you don't have enough hardener added in, if your balance is off, if you have too much resin, it'll stay soft forever. If you have too much hardener, it will go super brittle really fast and it'll start to harden before you can even get it on your surface. So I'm going to mix these two together. It's recommended that you use a flat bottom container so that you can mix easiest. I'm used to mixing on not flat bottom containers. I've gotten pretty proficient at this. And this is how you do it. You mix. And you don't just stir a little bit, you stir a lot. You mix it until it's cloudy, and then you start scraping. You scrape the sides, you scrape the bottom. You need to get this all completely mixed, because if you don't, you will have pockets of hardener and pockets of resin, and it won't pour well and it won't harden properly. So don't worry about the bubbles in it. That is what the torch is for later. Yes, we're playing with blow torches again today, my favorite fun thing. Okay. So I'm mixing bubbles in, and I know when I've got it mixed enough by when I start to see a lot of bubbles fly. By the way, don't breathe in the bubbles. The bubbles are epoxy. You don't want them in your lungs. When I see them, I blow them away. I'm gonna take a finger and see if I can see some questions. Okay. I'm sorry, Cindy, what did you miss? What didn't you get? God only knows what I've talked over while you were writing that question. So here we go. I have mixed my hardener. I have mixed my resin in really well. I could keep mixing this for another 5 minutes. They definitely suggest an extra long stirring time. Even when you think it's all mixed up, stir a little longer. I don't mess around. I want my epoxy to harden properly, so I always mix generously. Okay. So I've mixed that really well, and her table is General Finishes Klein Blue and silver details over it. You'll see it in a minute. Oh, the burning jeans. You missed the burning jeans? Yes, I set my jeans on fire. What happened is I was foiling the legs of the jeans. I was videoing and doing a lot of stuff, and I was trying to finish things up after I turned the camera off, and I threw my jeans over a candle, and I didn't realize I'd done it until we all started smelling the smoke in here. It wasn't my happy moment, but fortunately it wasn't a big fire, and the hole was only about that big, and they're already over at the cleaners to have the hole repaired, so I'll be wearing them in a week. Alrighty, so I've mixed some silver glitter in here, and if you look, it's only a little glittery. How glittery do you want this, Camilla?
Medium.
Okay, so that's only a little glittery. She says medium glittery, so I need to put some more glitter in. It's nice to have the client right here so I can ask the questions. Because also, as I pour this, while it looks super glittery, what's going to happen is it's going to run off. It'll run off the edges, because that's what epoxy does. You can't just brush it on and have it stay in place. You pour it on and it self-levels, and that means it'll ooze over the side. That's just a function of what it is. What's the pot life? The pot life is about 30 to 45 minutes. I'd say 45 minutes is the stretch, because quite frankly, it starts getting thick and gooey at that point, but I have had it open and mixed for at least a half an hour with no problem. You'll see as we play, I'll have stuff sitting here. And for those who don't understand what pot life is, pot life means however long you have from the moment it's mixed correctly until it stops being any good to use. That's the pot life. So this is the pot, and how long it's good is the pot life. Hey Eric, nice to see you. All right, I'm gonna take these gloves off for a second so that I can go move the camera over to the other area. I'm gonna take a little credit card with me, and let's see. Let's hope I manage not to flip this off. I know you're gonna see my hands going over the frame. Here we go. See, miss me? I know you did. All right, we're going back to the table. And of course I left the gloves sitting up there, didn't I? Well, you get to follow me as I walk through the studio back and forth, finding the things I forget. There we go. Gloves. Hi, Ashley. Nice to see you, sweetheart. All right, now give me a second. This tripod camera holder is really crabby, and it likes to throw my phone across the room. So we're hoping I can get this hooked up, and it might take a second. That's it. Okay, I think, let's hope it stays in. Alrighty, so now you are angled at the table. You can see it. It's not a very big table, and hopefully the phone won't pop out of the holder on the tripod before I have gotten this poured and torched, because that would be unfortunate. All right, and as you can see, I have a blowtorch sitting here. Oh, Cindy, thank you. Yeah, if you watch me put them in my pocket, I didn't pay attention to what I do. This is what happens to me all the time. I'm so focused on what I'm doing, I forget where I put the basics. Now, this table, I don't think you can see it. Let me turn a little bit. I not only have the edges completely taped off, but then I put a layer of tape and drape, this plastic tape edged product over it. And because it's so darn humid and rainy here right now, I actually had to retape the tape and drape because it kept coming unadhered. And we really need this plastic on here to keep this from having this messy, messy, messy edge. So the first thing I'm going to do is re-stir, make sure I'm covered here. I'm going to pour the glitter epoxy on here. And then I am going to take a credit card or an old room key or something like that, anything plasticky. And I'm going to start spreading this around. Don't wear shoes you love with this, especially if you're not set up on a table where you can hide your feet, like I have. Okay, now everybody asks me how long epoxy takes to dry. All of these factors depend on things like weather, but in general, cures hard in 12 hours. You probably get it in 8. I can't guarantee that. All right, let's reach across and spread it apart. And see the epoxy levels, so it doesn't matter if I got trowel marks and stuff right this very second, because this is going to spread out and it's going to level itself, and you won't know where my tool marks were. I just go to look and see if there's any empty spots. Look at this. The glitter on this looks like a galaxy. It's very pretty. All right, let me get some back on this back edge where the taping was a little rougher. All right, I have done that. And now I'm going to take my blowtorch. And I just wave it over the surface. I am not setting this on fire. I don't have it right down on it. All I'm doing is helping the epoxy release the bubbles and liquefy it just a little bit to help it dry level. Now, if you want it perfectly level when you dry it, have a perfectly level surface. Nothing in my studio is perfectly level. The floors are bowed slightly. The tables I know have a bow in them, so it gets challenging, but let me pull this down so you can see it. Sorry y'all, I warned you that I was going to drop the camera, and that's exactly what I did. That holder up there wants to shoot my phone out like it's a pea. So we're back, we're functioning, and I'm going to show you the tabletop now, and hopefully some of you will catch up on it later. But look how beautiful that glitter is in there. Oh wow. Nice to see you all back. I am so sorry I dropped the camera. So, well, it actually shot out. And I can see, like, right here, I have a little spot that needs a little droplet right there.
I approve.
And the client is telling me she approves. All right, let me get a couple of spots here that I see that I missed, and they will pour out. Sorry about that. And I'm going to take my torch, and let's see if you can see me do this. Set the tape on fire a little bit. Nothing new there. All right. And we're all done. We're going to let that set up and dry, and we're going to come back to the front and do some more stuff. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I can't believe I dropped it so badly. Now this one tends to be a little more stable. Like can you use a heat gun? You know, some people have and have done it successfully. You can give it a try. I know I've seen plenty of people do it. It's not my favorite. I love the torch, okay? I just happen to love it. And again, I apologize everybody for falling off the face of the earth there for a second, because I'm an idiot and I dropped my phone. So right now I'm just going back into my iPad and going back live again. And there you can see, I can see us, you can see me. So the next step that we're going to do, hey Dottie, nice to see you, is we're going to start doing some colors on different types of boards. So first thing I've got these are larger canvas boards. You see there's a blob of something on here. Gosh, only knows what. It's paint. So we're going to start with a couple of different color bases. And this is where things will get a little more complicated, and I'll explain each step as I go along. So here we go, aiming down, and we're gonna sit down so you can see what I'm doing. All right, fresh pair of gloves, because nobody needs to get their elbows deep into the epoxy. So I'm going to want some tinted background. We're going to play a couple different ways, and we're going to make a set of coasters today. My resin pigments are called resin art pigments. They're metallic. They come in gorgeous colors. You will love, love, love these. And somebody's asking, oh, you can't wait for furniture class. Thank you, Ashley, my dear. So here we go. These are the resin art pigments. These I carry. Metallic pigments are gorgeous. But when I'm pouring something like this, I might want an opaque background to pour my colors into. And I just ordered off of Amazon some black and some white epoxy pigments. They're liquid, they're a little smelly, but they work. So first thing I'm going to do is mix a couple. These have to be mixed differently. I can mix my epoxy pigments right into a mixed batch of epoxy, but this has to have, this says it requires it's mixed to the resin before you mix the hardener in. I'm not exactly sure why, other than it probably wouldn't mix well otherwise. So this is the hardener. This is the resin. I gotta make sure I put things in the right jars, containers. And I'm gonna mix one in black and one in white. Let's get a bunch of this mixed so I don't have to mix more later. Let's see. I'm trying to make about the same amounts for each of these. Okay. And you see this actually has a little cork in with the cap, so that helps keep the seal on the epoxy really nice and tight. All right, it says on here, add no more than 10% by volume to your product. So I am putting in some black, and believe it or not, this is going to be very, very opaquely black. It looks like it would be transparent, but it's not. And you have to mix this into the resin before you mix the hardener in. So here's the resins, and I'm putting some white in here. Come on, come out. probably, oh, I know why. It's got the little darn cap thing on here. I knew there was a reason I had an X-Acto knife right near me. Now, I'm obviously also going to have to change my gloves before I get into the colors because I've got so much black on my hands right now that if I don't, it'll contaminate everything. All right, get that on my finger too. Come on. I want a nice opaque white and a nice opaque black. And here we go. Now that I've mixed the white and the black, I can add hardener into it. I could not do that before. I have to clear my edge a little here so I can see just how much product I'm putting in. And let's see, I have to set it down over here so I can see it a little more evenly. The black is harder than the white to match. Yep, I got it. So the hardener goes in there for that one. Yeah, I know it's not very exciting to watch, but I think sometimes watching all the mixing process is as important as watching the creative so that you understand chemically why things work. Okay, that's hardener. There we go. And again, measure this one more time, make sure I'm close. I need to take a little less out of here. Hardener, and we mix. And again, just like before, you have to mix it really, really well. You may not see the bubbles and stuff fly with this, with the pigments in it. Okay, let me see what people are saying so I can answer some questions. And of course, that doesn't want to work with when I have gloves on. So give me just a second and I'll look up and read some comments. And we're getting a really nice opaque black. Make sure I go all the way to the bottom, scrape all the way through the pot to get it all mixed in, or it will not harden. And you'll know within 24 hours if you screwed it up. That's why you don't ever just kind of wing it. All right, there's that, can go out of the way. All right, so I have those two colors, and then I have to make a mixture to deal with all the colored pigments. So again, we're taking more cups. I'm going to pour most of what's in here. Because we're going to have to mix and play with colors. Get my fingers out of it. And then I'm going to pour my hardener in here to make sure I have about the same amount. Okay, about actually is the wrong word. So I have exactly the same amount. And I don't right here, I need more. There. Oh. There we go. All right. Now instead of mixing it in this cup, I'm gonna mix it in a bigger cup so I have plenty plenty of space. And the other thing I wanted to do was get rid of the little mix stick and use a bigger one because that'll make my life easier. Okay. Now usually when you're using a two-part epoxy, one part is substantially thicker than the other. This one has, you know, damn near identical viscosity when you pour it out, which is nice because then I don't have to figure out which is the thicker one. So I pour the thicker one into the thinner one because it makes it easier to mix. This one, it doesn't matter. I can just grab whichever is closest to me first and pour the other one into it. All right.
Is there any way to fix if you screw up your epoxy?
You mean if it's
hardened?
Okay. Camilla is asking if there's any way to fix if you've screwed up your epoxy and it doesn't harden. Yeah, you pretty much have to remove it. You can't add anything to it while it's wet on the surface. You can't sand it back because it's gummy. You're basically going to have to find a way to remove it and start over again. Now the nice thing about these epoxies, I don't have to add any conditioner to it, so there's no issues with something that adding an additive that would keep it from drying properly. Alrighty. Let's see, am I close to mixed up? I think so. Looks pretty good. Keep stirring it for a minute. I'm going to take my glove off for a second, read questions. Sari, nice to see you. Ashley, Dave, nice to see everybody. Alrighty, so I've got this pretty much mixed up. I'm sticking my gloves back on before I do something stupid. Okay. Here we go. I'm starting to see some bubbles fly. I'm scraping my sides. I'm making sure everything's mixed well. Once again, I'm going to go back and check this one, scraping the sides, making sure everything's mixed well.
I saw a bubble.
Yep, and then making this, stirring this one up again one more time. Scraping the sides, making sure everything's mixed well. So we have white, black, and clear. So guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna take some of these clears, this clear, and put them in different cups, and we're gonna play with colors. Unstick them. I'm trying to use all new cups so we don't get any mispigmenting, meaning I don't get the wrong stuff in the wrong container. I don't mix any other products into it. Okay. We're just going to pick a couple colors that I like, and I'll pigment them all, and you can see how that all goes. And I will change my gloves before that because this is sticky and I don't want my hands getting stuck full of pigment when that's not what I want. Okay, so I've scraped out this container completely. And quite frankly, I'll let this harden because once it's hardened, I can pop the container and flex this stuff off, which is fun. It's like a toy. All right, let me get the sticky gloves off. Blech. Ugh. All right, so we have all kinds of containers. I am not soliciting color opinions. I'm going to pick what I like. So let's see, we're gonna use a little Belize blue. Now, the instructions for this product, which is the Art Resin Epoxy, is that it's an 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon per ounce. I'm gonna say I've got about 2 ounces in here. So I'm gonna put 3/8 generously in there. And then let's see, what else have we got? I'm going to use sea glass green. Or is it sea glass or sea grass? There's another color that's sea glass. This will have a little bit of an olivey tone. 2, 3. Somebody asked me the other day if you can overpigment. I'm going to say, I assume so, that if you mix too much of this in, you're going to have pigment floating up, which is not exactly the prettiest thing on the face of the earth. All right, we're going to use a little mermaid blue. 1, 2, 3. And let's see, what else am I going to put in here? I'm working on a couple of color combination ideas, so I'm trying to get everything in that I need. All right, this is Pretty in Pink. 1, 2, 3. That's a generous 3/8 teaspoons of a teaspoon in there. We're going to use, let's use a little true silver in there. One, 2, 3. And then I know we have a really pretty orange that I think I'm going to use. Clementine Dragon's Gold. Oh, why do I have 2 Dragon Gold in here? I don't know why. Spice Ginger. Let's see. I think I'll use a little Spice Ginger and a little Clementine. It'll give me a nice combination. So I'm using a little Clementine Orange. 1, 2. Notice I'm putting all the lids back on properly because God knows I don't want this blowing around the studio. And then let's put 1 spoonful, we'll do both. Equal parts. See how that blends out. It's either going to be gorgeous or ugly. Usually no in-betweens on stuff like this. And back with my gloves so I can stir everything up. Okay, let me check my questions and comments. Renee, nice to see you. Sari, nice to see you both. Okay, so here's another sticks, more sticks, more sticks. Gosh, we're so fancy with the sticks. Okie dokie. And then we're gonna move on to canvases. Let's take some of this back out of my way so that once I'm mixed, I've got a clear space to work. Thank you.
Do you need blasters?
Yes, that's my,
Okay.
I'm being asked questions. Do I need something? The answer was yes. All right, so look at that beautiful blue. That's the Belize blue. It's getting a little warm in here today because I have the air conditioner off so that I can hear and you can hear me. Look
My
how,
table is gorgeous.
obviously my client's happy with the table. All right, here is the seagrass. Look how beautifully those pigments just dissolve in there. I mean, this is just me taking a couple swirls. Let them in, they bloom a little bit, so if there's any lumps, they kind of bloom out and you get more pigment. And then we have the Pretty in Pink. Oh gosh, I love that. Who doesn't love that pink? Look at how pretty that color is. I'm in love with my own stuff right now. Okay, this is the combination of Clementine and Spice Ginger. It gave me a very nice coppery orange. Look at that color. And I used equal parts Clementine and Spice Ginger. Okay. And then this last one is the True Silver pigment. Okay, so this is going to be a lot of messiness. So I always suggest plan well, put everything you need together in one place, even though everybody's seen me have a less than organized live. I'm trying to be a little better with this one because it is so messy. Now I have cans out here to support everything that I'm pouring on so it runs over the edge. Spiced ginger, that's a fall treat. Yes, it is. But look at the combination of spiced ginger and clementine. It makes a gorgeous, juicy, coppery orange. So I have these canvas boards. They're gessoed. You can get them, you know, at Blick. These are from Dick Blick. This size, I think, is like 8 by 9 or 8 by 12, I mean. And I can pour directly over them. They're perfect. So the first thing I'm going to do, let me go grab my bucket of room keys over here. I love my hotel room keys, my expired credit cards, my old gift cards, all of that stuff. My mother used to travel a lot too, and she used to, I've got a couple business cards in there that I don't want to leave in there. She used to save all her room keys for me, tie them up in a rubber band, and put them in my stocking at Christmas. So I always had plenty. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour white around the edge here. And then we're trying some different things today, so these are either going to be really successful or they're going to be really bad. Doesn't really matter which they are. So I've had some, like, watching some other people's pour videos and stuff. I had some ideas that I kind of wanted to see if I could work out and make them work. So that's what we're doing here. And if I fail, well, I fail. Part of learning to do things is failing. So you can see I've got this white over here completely, and it's very opaque. You don't see anything underneath it unless there's a little pigment blooming up through because I had some on my fingers. So the first thing I'm gonna do, pop that little bubble, is I'm gonna start by putting drops in here. And we're gonna play with this a little bit. And I'm not trying for perfection. I'm just experimenting to see what I can make happen. And some of these we're gonna have a lot of color and all over pours. Some of these I'm just gonna drop some colors in to see what happens. See what I can make, because this, as it shifts, it will bloom. As it shifts, colors will feed into each other. Especially since my table's not level, it'll all probably end up going in a funny direction. So I'm taking a little bit here. And then the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to take another color. I love this pink. I love pink and orange as a combination anyway. I'm going to put some in the middle. Now let's see how this works. This is either, like I said, it's either going to be great or it's going to be a total nightmare. We're going to find out how it comes out. So I'm loving the colors feeding together. I don't think you can see them as clearly as I can up close because the light's a little dim today. It's been a very gray day. And let's see. Let's take a little green. Drop a little green in here. Now, part of what happens is we get cells and stuff in this, but mostly it's created between heat and the weight of the pigment. Some pigments are a little heavier than others, and they will shift and fall down, and you'll see the lighter ones floating to the top. Okay. Hi, Linda. Nice to see you. Hi, Tammy. So let's see, what else should I put in here? I'll put maybe a little silver. And this is doing is sort of pushing out rings of color. So no color is actually disappearing. The new color pushes the old color off to the sides. So I'm going to see if I can give you a little close-up of what I'm doing. I may have to stick my fingers in the camera again, so be patient. There we go, get a little closer. Now, the other fun things, this is where we can get into fun stuff. And I like, of course, my fun stuff off the way. Hey, Camilla, would you go in back and get me a fork? Plastic fork. So I can start doing fun stuff like this. And it pulls all the colors out into things. I mean, look how pretty. Thank you. Oh, I love doing this. This is, for those of you who might not be aware, this is similar to what chefs do with sauces on plates. They stick a knife or a fork or a dowel like I have into stuff and start pulling patterns. Oh, I like how this is coming out. This is fun. If I get a little white on the tip of my skewer, like I got right here, I don't think you can see it, but it pulls some of the white into the center of the bursts, and it's so pretty. You know, I like this so much as it is. I may not do any other stuff to it and move on to a black one, and we can play with some other stuff there. Okay, so I'm going to set this to side and see how we do with letting it dry. But just look how lovely that is and how simple that was. Oh, I love this. Hi, Roberta. Nice to see you here. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side. And honestly, I won't know what it looks like until I'm done, but I'm not setting it to the side just yet. So when I work on smaller torches, instead of a blowtorch, I have this chef's pastry torch. So I push that on, get it to light. And then I can push the little knob on the side and it stays on. And all I'm doing is quickly going lightly across the surface to make the bubbles pop. I could have done this later, but I really wanted to do it now. Now, I could torch this in certain spots longer, have more heat, and it causes it to move around a little bit. I don't think you can see that, but I can. And you can do, this is where the heat gun does cool things, because it causes some interesting blooming and stuff. So look how cool that is. That worked out just perfectly. And I'm quickly going over, making sure I didn't miss any bubbles, because I can see a few popping each time I go past. But look at this. If you look in this corner right here, I'm getting some explosions of the cells. If I do that on all of these, just a little quickie, it's going to explode some cells into there. And I just love that. I think that's the coolest thing. All right, let me set this back here to start to set up and dry. All right. And no, I didn't steal this one from my husband. I bought this one separately. All right, so now we're going to take the same thing. And again, these are old. I've had them around. You can see it's, you know, not exactly the cleanest thing. It's probably gotten overspray and stuff from it on all kinds of ways. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to do a little black. And we're going to try a different kind of pour this time. So first I'm going to do exactly what I did before, which is get black all over the surface. And that one's the one that had the white on it. I don't want to use that again. That would be a big mistake. Okay, let's get all of this over here. love how this is going on. You can see how opaque that black is. So obviously it doesn't take a whole lot of colorant to get you to opaque black. Let's see if anybody's got anything they need to say to me. I'm checking. Nope, I don't see anybody popping any crazy questions yet. Actually, there are no such thing as crazy questions, just crazy painters. Okay, let's get all of this. And I don't worry about the drips and the runoffs on canvases. Quite frankly, it's not that hard to clean up. If I was really worried about this, I would have put a little tape on the back of the board, which still would have had its challenging moments of cleaning up, but that's what I would have done. All right, because all of that's gonna roll off. All right, so let us start with Mermaid Blue. I'm gonna start in the center. That's beautiful. Oh God, that color's gorgeous. And then I think we're gonna put a little of the orange mixture in there. Ah, nice. That reads really prettily. And then I think we'll put a little green. And some pink. And I don't know, do I need silver or do I need another blue? Maybe I'll wait on the silver to see where I'm at, and we'll just start with the blue. Okay, so now you can see I've got this bullseye pattern. I can take it and stretch it across the surface, just like you do when you're doing other kinds of paint pours. But I'm actually working on keeping this bullseye out a little bit more specifically, just on this one. And then I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to do like this. We're getting a little on the psychedelic side here, I think. And then I can plop some silvers in here. I like the silver in the background because it's going to bloom and do its own thing too. See, I can take the fork and I can just keep pulling this. And it's going to do all these really pretty things. But what it's also going to do is sort of melt into itself and bloom. Maybe I want a little silver in that middle there. It's looking a little muddy. I might even put a couple of drops of white in. Let's try going back in again and see if I can pop those colors a little bit. Well, black and white and silver pour is awfully pretty too. So I think what I'm going to do now is put a little bit of different colors in the corners and kind of feather them in to the center pattern. More silver in them. I am truly making this up as I go along, just so you all know. I pour something, I see how it looks, I say I like it or I don't. And then I put a little more something in there. Let's get some of that orange in there. Yeah, because see what's happening here was the black, the lightest colors seem to be wanting to sink. So I want to make sure we get some additional brightness in here. I don't want those colors to disappear. I really like how this is coming out though, it's pretty cool. And again, I'm obviously not worrying that I've got little trails of stuff squidging around because they actually create cool patterns when they dry. Let's put a little bit of blue in here. There we go. And then I think I'll put a couple drops of white in. I just don't want to lose the lightness that I'm seeing happening. Okie dokie. So I'm going to take this and pull back out. I'm going to go like this. Fork pulling is fun. It's not exactly hard. So I like the way things come out when I do it. I think maybe I want to see. I'm going to do this up real high so I can get some kind of funky dribbles going in here. I like that. Now this will sort of dry this way with these little swirls showing. Okay, checking my messages. Hi Kim, nice to see you. All right, I think I need a little more bright blue in there. It just kind of, the blue sort of got eaten up. I want to put a little more of that in here in the corners. Maybe I'll put a little more in the middle. When I stop talking, it's because I'm concentrating and trying not to pour all over the table, which we all know, seeing me do it right now, I kind of do anyway. Alrighty, so now I can take another card and smear this around a little if I want to. Kind of not, I think I'll take the fork back in, wipe it off a little bit, get some of the black out. And truly, I'm putting so much epoxy on here, this will not even come close to looking like it's gonna, the way it's gonna look. Because this is thick, and I have made it a little muddy in here, so I guess I need to go back in with some more colors. Again, I'm just playing, so I can't really screw this up. The worst that happens is I learn what not to do. So I'm going to pull some of that. That's better. Get a little brightness. And maybe I'll put a little orange, because this is starting to get muddy, so I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. Just going to take it lightly on the top, and then I'm going to pull this way so I get the orange towards the middle. And the other thing is I can take this and shift it so I can get some nice pulling in some different directions. more like flames going here. See, I'm kind of liking what's happening if I tip it towards me and I shift it all to one side. Oh yeah, there we go. That's compositionally, that's more what I was looking for. All right, so next I'm gonna wipe my fingers clean a little bit so I can pick up the torch. All right. And I'm just gonna lightly torch the surface. So I put a lot of colors in here, and gosh only knows how this is actually gonna lift up. I'm gonna bloom the colors a little bit in a few places. And some of these are gonna sell, but I'm creating cells already by putting the heat on here. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. I have no idea whether this is gonna look at all good when it dries. It may look very cool. It may look like crap. And I'm okay with that because I know that. Okie dokie. So I think the next thing I'm gonna work on is these little clay boards. They have a little bit of texture to them. And as you can see, I'm putting my hands all over them. So I'm gonna make some black and white coasters because we're sloppy in my house and we need coasters. So I'm gonna do a black coaster and some white coasters, but they're all gonna be in shades of blue, green, and silver. Why? Because that's what I have the most of in my house. So I'm spreading this around. You can hear as I do this, there's a little scratchy texture under there. That is because it's a clay board. Again, I don't care about the dribbles over the side because there's going to be more of them in a little while. So I think I'm going to start here. And I'm just going to pour in one corner. And I'm going to bullseye pour, which is what I've been doing all morning anyway, or all afternoon anyway. I'm kind of doing bullseye pours, which means I'm creating concentric circles of color. And let's do this with the silver. And maybe I'll put a little white in there. After I put a drop or two of blue. So I'm going to do 2 of these white and 2 of them black, and we're going to see how they dry best. And the black and the white, you have to watch them. They can swallow up colors if you're not careful because they're opaque, whereas metallics have a little bit of translucency. So the first thing I'm going to do is start stretching this. All right, let that run around a little bit. See what I'm doing. You can just see that I'm tilting. Let's see if you can see what's happening. So you can see I've pushed most of the blue color to one side, and then I'm going to take a skewer. Now, like I said, I can take a card and lightly run it across, but I think today I'm kind of loving the whole spidery thing, and that's where I'm going to go. This is so easy to do. And I really like how that comes out. And then if I want to, again, I can take my fork and I can come in on some of these colors out here and sort of bloom them out a little more, give them some tentacles into another color. But I gotta be very careful because the black wants to swallow these. So I wanna make sure that I don't go too crazy and have them disappear. All right, so I'm gonna just simply do this one like I was doing the other ones. Okay. A little heat on here causes little tiny cells to pop up. Almost looks like a peacock feather, which I kind of really like. Okay, so that one's gonna go to the side on a can of stuff. And then here's another one, and we're gonna do another black pour here. And this time I'm gonna try to just do around the edges. And we're gonna see what happens there, how it treats the colors. And if you could look around my studio right now, everything's dripping off the edge of everything. So I'm getting all the black edges covered. All right. So then I think the first colors that's going to go on is going to be the darkest blue. And then a little green. I might put a little, do this one with a little orange. Green. Orange. Silver. And again, I think I'm going to put a little drop of white in there just to counteract the weight of the other colors. Okay, so again, I've got another bullseye pour. Let me check and see if anybody's okay. Yes, Kim, this is very cool. What we did in the first part of the video is I just simply poured a tabletop. I'm now just making coasters for my house out of clapboard, and I will felt back this.
Can you use regular tiles?
No. Don't. So I'm okay, sorry about that. My husband decided to call me in the middle of doing a live. I don't know why, because I'm online and he gets the notifications. So see, when I twist this around, this is getting a little bit muddy. I'm seeing all the blue disappear. So I may have to go in and put some more blue in. You know, and I can go in with my fingers because I can pull, if you see the blue is underneath all these colors. So as I stick my fingers in it, the blue comes up. And I may just do some of that, sticking my fingers in to see what I can make happen. And I'm getting too much black in there. Maybe I'll just drizzle a little more blue in. Okay. And then we have that little float of white in the middle, which I like the way that's floating. Get in there. All right, so let's torch that one. I may want to pull a little bit more that way. I'm doing very lightly with my fingers. Let's get a little more blue right in there. And see, I add colors in. This is a little messier, it's a little less bullseye reaction to it. And I've torched it, I've gotten all the bubbles, And then I'm getting these really nice cells in the middle of this. That's really showing up well. All right, I can't touch anything. Anthony, nice to see you. Terry, great to see you here. All right, so I'm gonna take this one and set it on top of another jar. I have jars galore around me. So now we're gonna move into the white ones, which I have more of here. And again, like I did the first time on the other one, I'm gonna pour and move the product all over the card, or all over the little clay board. And like I said, this has a little bit of a texture to it. It's a clay board, so it's gonna have a little clay texture. I'm gonna scrape some of that back in there. And let's see. So I started out with, last time I started this, I did a little bullseye ring in the corner. Okay. And then we'll do this color. I think I'm gonna have to pull down a larger canvas board just to use up all the last of this pigment so I don't waste it, because I don't like to waste. All right, let me turn this thing a little bit since it's tilting one way. I had my epoxy board was going directionally, so let's see. I green, the blue, the blue. Let me take another blue. And a little silver. Okay. And maybe just for the fun of it, I'll throw a drop of pink in here. Why? Because it makes all the other colors pop. All right, so again, I'm going to stretch this across the card. I keep calling it a card, and it's actually just a little tiny clay board. It's not a card. And you can see I'm stretching it sort of like it's starting to look a little like a peacock feather. So maybe if I pull it this way, and then I go out, let's do that. Hey Camilla, is there another plastic fork back there?
I think it is.
Thank you.
Your husband wanted to know what to do.
So, okay, I'm gonna pull out here. Look how that looks. It does look like a peacock feather. Look how nice that is. Oh, I love that. Thank you.
I like that one.
Thank you. Okay, so let's then come out here with this. Get a little more out like that. I'm getting a little faster as I do a few more of these. Either that or it's just such a small surface, it doesn't matter. Look how nice that looks. Oh, that came out like a peacock feather. Oh, I love it. Let's see if I can tap the screen. Can this be done on canvas? Yes, but Kim, canvas bows a little bit, and I've seen it done on canvas, but things tend to pool in the middle. So you either have to make your canvas back really firm or use canvas boards. Okay, so here we go. I'm lighting this up. Oh, I get nice little pops and cells of colors here. And again, while I have it looking like a peacock feather right now, I can't guarantee this is how that's going to dry. I may do all kinds of other things that I have no plans for. So there's that one, and that can just get set right there. And I've got my last one. We're going to do one last white board. So, and I'm going to do like I did with the other one. I'm going to pour around the sides. Oops, I was very generous with that pour of white. Nice mess I just made. Now when I pour like this around the edges, when this stuff all levels, half the white is gonna just roll right off. That's why I'm trying not to be too crazy pouring with the white. Why would I bother? I don't want to waste it all. All right, so last time I'm going to start with a dark blue under here. And then, what did I do? I did green. And I did orange. I did a little. I'm being very generous with the epoxy right now. It's gonna all kind of roll off the edge by the time we're done. And then I think I had put a drop of black in the other one, but I'm gonna put a drop of pink because it'll make it pop on the white. Okay. So here we go. First I'm gonna let it slide around a little bit to fill in the gaps where there's no epoxy in the white. Let's see if I can get it all kind of flow in one direction or another. Okay. I have no memory exactly what I did with the other one, so I'm just going to start playing. Okay, now let's move this around a little bit. Okay, I think I'm going to put some blue dribbles in here because it's going to start disappearing soon. And I do this, and these bloom into really cool looking little worm trails across stuff. Okay, and I can just take my finger in here a little bit and smear it a little bit in here and make pretty patterns, or at some point leave it alone. What do I want to do here? I think I want a little more pink in a few corners. Ooh, I like that. That's fun. That's very fun. I like that. So maybe I'll take a little dark blue because I'm feeling like we need a little contrast. We got a little muddy right in there. Okay, that's going to do some cool stuff. And I'm going to take a little bit of the white and dribble it in too. Because it's getting so muddy in the middle, I'm not happy. These are like little spider webs across everything. All right, anybody else got any ideas, suggestions? Hi, Maria. Hi, Felicia. Nice to see you. So I got this. Not completely thrilled right now. I think the orange disappeared. I'm gonna put some of this in the middle. Where'd my skewer go? Stuck under something else, I'm sure. I think I really just need a punch of color in one corner or something, because it's not, it gets muddy real fast on these. I really wanted to stay in blues, but oh well, look what happened. All right, so I've got this kind of crazy mess here going on, and I'm okay with that too. So we're gonna pull that down, torch it. Let it bloom in a few places, soften this a little bit. Pop some other colors up. Ooh, that's gonna come out pretty cool. Because what's happening here is now it's all softening and you can see other colors coming up. There we go. So I'm getting a lot of little cellular stuff happening here. Alrighty, I am going to take my glove off and I'm going to come back up to the camera. All of these are going to sit here and dry tonight. Alright, let's get the camera back up so I can see you. Alright, and you can, then we're going to fix this so you're not, oh, camera wants to roll. Come on. Let me get it so you're not looking right up my nose. Well, it doesn't want to do that, so I'm going to just back up. All right, so you've had me playing with epoxy for, quite a while now. Any questions, any problems, any information you need, post it to the thread after I post this video. Do not hesitate to ask questions. All the products are available at paintedstudio.com. And remember, share the videos. The bigger my reach, the more people I can have fun with doing this, and the longer I can keep doing these live videos. Thanks, everybody. Bye.